now here and keeping targets up as Ragnaros landing a 4-man Sulfurish Smash, Durance of Hate from Mephisto, and this combination executed perfectly at the end of the game.
From Alarak, make it a quad kill set up by that ETC.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi line.
Nubarak, core at 50%. Both cores are just absolutely melting. Which one's going to go down first? I think this is going to be Respect the Gooses. Oh my goodness.
Ring. Oh my goodness, the ring. Jaina just blowing up everybody here. That's a 4, make it 5.
And it does knock them all up. What a play! Oh my God! Somebody please clip that.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series here. Today we're going to catch a replay cast between Division B-NorthEast teams, Death and Delay and ReGen Ghost. Now we, it's weird my overlays aren't working. Maybe I did something wrong. Well, so in addition to our replay cast, I do want to point out today, just coincidental timing, that Girls Gang Squad is actually putting together a charity tournament filled with women from around the Nexus, and the charity tournament is to support the Breast Cancer Research Fund. So make sure that you stop by over there. It's twitch.tv/Jazzaline, and you'll be able to see that in the chat. If you want to donate, hit !donate for the link to that, and we'll be scooping over to them once we're done here with our replay cast. So again, I'm Aero. You can tell that by your screen here. And we've got Death and Delay versus ReGen Ghost. And I do have all of the details about their map bans, their standings. And I set the standings pre-game. I know who wins by virtue of being a couple days later. But I've set this all based on pre-game. So our first setup here, we've got Death and Delay. They've got 12 points. ReGen Ghost has 3 points. Now, the rest of the teams may have, gone up and down since then. But ultimately, in fact, I'm pretty sure several have. But ultimately, Death and Delay 12 points, ReGen Ghost 3 points. And our map bans here, I don't know. I can find that out real quick. I show you these. Our map bans coming from Death and Delay were on Dragonshire and Braxis Holdout. And for ReGen Ghost, they were Volskaya Foundry and Cursed Hollow. Now, our first game is going to take place on Infernal Shrines. And that was the map pick of ReGen Ghost. Alright, and because this is a replay cast, we won't be able to see the draft, unfortunately, but we do get to see the game. So let's get right into that. Here we go. Alright. There we go. So there is, at the bottom right, you can see the donation tracker for the Girls Gang Squad charity. So if you want to keep track of that, you'll be able to do so there. But let's get introducing our teams here. For the blue team, we've got Death and Delay. Huckett going to be on Johanna. Delta Sniper on Chromie. MZ17 on the Uther. Mac Daddy-O on the Greymane. And MDC there on Sonya. And over here for ReGen Ghost on the right, we got Littlerock playing Cassia. Dub C613 on the Orphea. Dormant God playing Malthael. Andrew going to be on Lily, and Mongoose on that ETC. Now, this is after the ETC nerf, so there are some slight adjustments to ETC. His armor isn't quite as good, and his Encore was adjusted slightly, so it's a little bit less cooldown reduction. But the blinds into the Greymane going to be helpful. Also, even to that Sonya, perhaps, as ETC getting caught by that time trap is going to get the power slide out. So no significant damage there coming out. Both teams do have a blind, but we have the Cassia and Lily on the side of ReGen Ghost. So looking to capitalize as much as possible onto Cassia's trait, getting that double damage. And up in the top lane, it's going to be Malthael versus Sonya here. Malthael starting off a little bit faster in that wave clear than Sonya, but certainly she'll be able to keep up with that in general. Time Trap going to catch the Greymane and the ETC, but ETC going to power slide away the opposite direction, knowing that those Chromie blasts, that Dragon's Breath, was going to come down right in his face, making sure to reduce that potential damage. Now, Chromie didn't go into the deep breathing, so she's instead got... yeah, it is Time Walker's Pursuit. Okay, so she gets that extra spell power to all of her abilities, but also the vision. And Orphea coming in from behind, looking to see if she can't get some of that early damage, use that on point kind of, I guess it's Shadow Waltz, on point is the talent, but using Shadow Waltz to kind of dance around her opponents. And we see, again, Malthael versus Sonya here. Malthael does have the faster rotations. He's got that Pale Horse to get him in between the lanes much faster. And his wave clear is pretty good as well. So he's able to clear these minion waves quickly, move on to the next one, and likely will stay a little bit ahead in that minion XP. We already see about 800 difference, which is more, that's about a wave and a half. Now, part of that is right here because he was able to pick up that full wave, but as we can see, he's already moving on to the next one. Sonya getting a little bit behind. Chronic conditions for Chromie, so looking to get those slows, the movement speed slows onto the enemies to try to help make sure that her abilities will land consistently, while also giving her allies that movement speed. First Punisher coming up in just a few moments here. It's going to be an Arcane Punisher in the top lane. So both teams electing to really put as much pressure as they can into the bot lane for right now, especially having those double soakers. ETC is going to get stunned by the Uther. Time Trap coming down, so Greymane's not going to be able to finish his damage there. It's actually Lily falling a bit low, but is going to be able to pull away from the Greymane, getting just under her towers. And both teams going to be able to clear up that lane and get set up here soon for the Punisher. Dormant God taking quite a bit of damage there from that Sonya. Keeping in mind, Sonya right here, Warpaint. When she gets those auto attacks, she's getting additional damage. She also has this Shot of Fury, so she can get that extra damage by using that that ability to get those additional seismic slams, also increasing her auto attack damage immediately after. So a lot of single target damage there, but also, of course, just the fact that she can do more seismic slams is really important. Great medallion there from MDC to be able to avoid the power slide and ultimately only lose half health. ReGen Ghost gonna get onto their top shrine here as they the counter is that Death and Delay saying, hey, we're gonna get value everywhere else in this map. They get the Shaman camp, so that'll help them in the top lane in a little bit here. But Sonya's pushing mid, Chromie pushing bottom lane, and that's gonna give Death and Delay not only the advantage in talents here as they get that level 7 talent, but it's also gonna give them pressure in both of these lanes, pushing the minion waves up. I don't know that they get fully any of the structures, but definitely some damage. And you see Chromie here looking to take out that healing well. Does get that bottom healing well. That's going to help them out significantly later in the game. We just have to see now, with level 7s, can ReGen Ghost trade out and get more value than what they lost? The Punisher's jumping over the side there with the help of that Johanna Iron Skin to keep her unstunned. Unstoppable, you might say. But now she doesn't have it. Uses the medallion to try to get out. Huckett very low. Does get a heal from Uther. And with that 25 armor, going to be able to make it out. ETC not looking like it's going to happen, though. Not only with the damage from the core, or the fort, rather, but that 20 armor penalty with Chromie dropping some Dragon's Breath. Really putting the work into ETC. So overall, this first Punisher, Death and Delay, getting significant more value as they're able to get the bottom fort down to half. They got a little bit of damage into the mid lane, but more importantly, they got 3/4 of a level lead. And they kept their well, they kept their fort. Very strong opening salvo here from Death and Delay, able to get a lot of extra value out of that. Now, Shaman Camp is going to be picked up in the top for ReGen Ghost now, as they head down, looking to maybe pick up their next siege camp here, but more likely just to make sure that in the bot lane, Death and Delay can't push in that fort. The next Punisher coming into the mid, though. And that's going to be a Mortar Punisher. So we do have this camp pushing in the mid, as I was just going to jump up there. Malthael getting that kill onto the Sonya there in the top lane. Now that's going to be very helpful for ReGen Ghost, especially if they can get this kill onto Johanna. So the big stun, but it's not enough. ETC going to get stunned out by the Uther, but Lili with that blinding wind is going to be able to finish that up here. So 2 kills in favor of ReGen Ghost, now getting the bottom camp. They've got Malthael in the mid, gathering that soak. They get level 10 just barely ahead, as the top lane, thanks to that camp, is going to be able to push up into the fort and even out the structure value here. ETC, though, going to get absolutely obliterated there by Chromie, falling very low. That power slide likely saving his life with that extra 20 armor. And the siege camp picked up mid lane now. So Johanna versus Malthael in the mid, as Mac Daddy O coming down here to try to clean up this bot lane siege camp. And we see the pings being called, maybe just to tell them that they're coming up here to catch this soak. It looks like Ghost wants to have an aggressive bush party here. Maybe try to catch him on the rotation. That said, a little bit slow from the rest of ReGen Ghost, and Mac Daddy O there, which could have been an isolated kill and would have been a fantastic kill for ReGen Ghost. Able to catch them, able to see that rotation from the team and recognize maybe this isn't the best idea for me. Second Punisher of the game coming up. It's going to be in the mid lane and a Mortar Punisher. Both of the teams have pretty strong structure here. A little bit of wall damage and tower damage over here on the side of ReGen Ghost. Just the wall damage on the side of Death and Delay. And with Malthael going back, he does have that Pale Horse, so he'll be back pretty quickly. But ReGen Ghost getting started on the Shrine just a little bit earlier. And Curse Bullet is going to land onto ETC. The big stun coming from Uther. But Uther doesn't have the Divine Reckoning. Whatever. Anyways, a big mosh pit here. The Divine Shield is what they have, and it goes out onto the Sonya. So no kills there from ReGen Ghost. MDC going to get caught, and Last Right's going to get them the first kill of this one. But Mongoose falling very low is going to be able to make it out, but not so lucky for Malthael, as Dub C also going to fall there. Chromie getting those auto attacks. And you know what? This right here, that little clone, it throws out those extra hits. And oh my goodness, another kill. A trade out here on this one, as ETC and Greymane going to fall on opposite sides. And now it's essentially 2 versus 3. Cassia, Lili versus Chromie, Johanna, and Uther. And I don't know that I like the odds of ReGen Ghost on this one, like trying to come into this. They've got a tank, they've got a healer, and that healer provides armor, provides damage reduction. They do have their solo lanes coming back on both sides. ETC and Greymane coming in a little bit behind. So we'll see if ReGen Ghost looks to come back into this. But it's only 4 to go for Death and Delay. ETC's going to get that power slide onto Johanna, knocks her back. Crushing Jaws coming out, but the chain ball lightning crap is just bouncing forever. Another Last Right, so a double kill, maybe a triple. Oh, Mac Daddy O just ahead of the tip of that spear, able to sneak away. And this Punisher now pretty much a free clear for ReGen Ghost. We'll be able to get a little bit of damage onto their wall and towers here, but it's already at half health by the time it gets here. Big stun though. Can there be any follow-up? Death and Delay not quite in a position to do so. Now these healing walls, keep in mind, did get changed. So even with that big mortar barrage, that will be fully healed up, as the shield There's about 90% of the health of those now. BTC heading down, keeping an eye on what's going on in the bot lane. But interestingly enough, Dormant God, all by himself on the offensive side. This is going to be interesting. Sorry that I missed that kill, but I really want to see how this goes. Dormant God is actually going to get absolutely just curb stomp there. Little cheeky of a play, very aggressive, ultimately going to cost them. So the kill onto Chromie gives them a 1-for-1 trade, but this is definitely helpful for Death and Delay. Getting the Shaman Camp, they've got a Shaman Camp that's going to be able to push top. They have a Siege Camp that can push in the mid lane. It's already done a little bit of damage here. And more importantly now, they got the opportunity to come in and steal away this Shaman Camp on the enemy team, from the enemy team. And that Shaman Camp won't do a ton of damage. I mean, it dies pretty quickly. It gets stalled out by the minion waves in between the keep and the fort. But it will get some damage, and it's a steal away from their opponent. So that means that there's less XP for ReGen Ghost. It means that there's less pressure for ReGen Ghost, especially with this right here coming up. That's going to be a Frozen Punisher in the bot lane. And that's not ideal for ReGen Ghost. If they lose it, it goes into a keep. But Greymane getting just taken out here. Littlerock getting very low on the Cassia, trying to run away. Crushing Jaws is going to land onto 2, but no additional follow-up as Lily getting the peels from Mongoose here. And a big slide out onto Sonya, so no more whirlwinds from her, but Mongoose getting very low. Can he make it away? It's Johanna that gets taken out thanks to that Lily, and Divine Shield coming in as well. I believe it did in fact negate that last rites, but Uther not gonna make it, and a big mosh pit, but the Encore is gonna keep Sonya out, and ETC falling thanks in part to the damage from those towers. So ultimately, and that's the downside to Encore, right? Is that it's great for the cooldown reduction, but there are those moments where you go, ah, crap. And pretty much always going to be a position where if you hit somebody with an Encore while you're moshing them, they're gonna get out. Lily was chasing there after Chromie, but we do see Orphea has to go back. She was caught in those slowing sands and took the brunt of the Dragon's Breath, ultimately nearly getting her a kill, actually. MDC very low. Dormant God trying to see if he can't get another kill. Has the last rites. There it goes. Is it enough? Just barely. That last tick from Malthael will give another kill here for ReGen Ghost. So the kills 11-6 in favor of ReGen Ghost. Looking now for the Chromie. Can't quite get it as Lily popping the jug of 1,000 cups. Crushing Jaws coming out. ETC maybe looking to try to get that Uther, but couldn't quite find it. But instead, just getting the value out of that Encore. So again, with the level 4 loudspeakers, it makes it's fantastic synergy with Encore. It means that you're more likely to get that cooldown reduction. But Johanna's going to get stunned. ETC now on the wrong side of the slowing sands, and he may very well pay for it. There's the mosh pit though, but that Divine Shield coming out onto Greymane. Greymane looking to see if he can't finish off the ETC. Is completely isolated from the rest of his team. A wall of red health bars chasing him down and says, you know what? This is not my fight. And now ReGen Ghost, who I was concerned that if they lost this Frozen Punisher, it would be heading right into this keep, and that would be a big problem for them. Now, in the lead, 28-2 for this Punisher, could get them a significant boost, but oh my goodness, Johanna gonna pull everybody into those slowing sands. Mongoose getting very low, is gonna get taken out. Dub C trying to zip his way out, but Blessed Shield is gonna get the kill onto Orphea, and Littlerock now trying to get away, slowing down MacDiadio with spears to the face. The ball lightning, not enough to get that kill, so a quad kill here for Death and Delay. Only 6 away were ReGen Ghost, and it's like, as soon as I said it, they came in and they're like, hold up, we got this. We're gonna send this into this keep. And that's where this is going in a few moments here. There won't be enough time for ReGen Ghost to res and defend this. And there's no way that Malthael wants to come into this by himself. It's just not happening. Here comes that Frozen Punisher. Sonya gonna head, I guess, up to do the Shaman Camp here. And with the Punisher, like, it's got to go through the minions, so, I mean, picking this up is that's free. That makes a lot of sense. Sonya heading up into the top lane, looking to get that Tommy camp. I was going to say, I think Malthael's heading there as well. You're welcome, Mongoose. Thanks for joining us. So both teams going to have their shaman camps going. Sonya getting that a little bit earlier, of course, than Malthael. So that should overall balance out. But right now, this Frozen Punisher does get the lockdown. The wall is going to be taken out and keep frozen for a few moments here. First bullet not landing, but the big stun onto ETC. He can't quite get out. Does use that power slide to get out of the slowing sands. But Chromie killed Orphea. How? I didn't even see that. But now the Punisher moving on to the core. Only about a quarter level for death and delay here. And I was going to say, I think that this is, even though there are still, they do have the advantage in numbers. That Punisher's gone, and I think that they needed to pull back. They're too close to level 20. If they want to get level 20, then they can look for that fight and push on. On the big screen. Isn't it great watching Twitch casting on, just on the big screen? Like, yeah, I love it. And I'm not a TV person, but I went out and bought a big screen and set it up so that I could cast from, you know, my tablet to that through a Chromecast, and it looks fantastic. All right, Death and Delay with their level 20 is going to take down the mid fort. So continuing the pressure that they gathered from that Frozen Punisher, about 80% of the level still to go for ReGen Ghost. So looking to defend, if they can get a good opportunity, great, but really this is a tough spot to be in. You don't want to lose anybody, because losing a character at this point could lead to a core call, depending on who it is. And it is that double, or I guess not double, but the Bulwark of Light increasing the number of targets that get Divine Shield. If they land that at the right place, can be devastating, especially on a mosh pit. ETC gonna power slide in over the slowing sands. Here comes the Jug of 1,000 Cups, but ETC was looking for that mosh pit, but didn't have enough health to survive long enough to make it happen. Chromie just finishing the job there. Time Trap gonna come out, is gonna stall out the Sonya, but Johanna's gonna take the last shot from the fort, or keep rather. Sonya now may be in trouble, is able to spin out of there using that Gladiator's Medallion, and ReGen Ghost will just save their mid keep and get their level 20s thanks to that kill. That's about the best case scenario, I think, for ReGen Ghost. I don't think that there were many opportunities there for them to really you know, defend there, but getting, especially after losing the ETC, that made it very difficult. But having the Johanna move in, having the Sonya move in and take so much damage that ultimately they lose their tank, so both teams down their tank, and nearly lose the Sonya. I mean, if Sonya goes down there, then ReGen Ghost runs away with this between Malthael, Cassia, you know, Lily, and Orphea. I mean, they can stick on it. I'm assuming they've got the slowing. Nope, increased duration. That makes sense with Greymane Sonya. So they don't have the slowing wins out of Lily, but even still, I mean, Orphea slows with her level 1. Cassia technically could. I don't know if she took that. Probably not. No. So it's really, at that point, even, heck, Malthael can. Did he take that? That this one, or is that that's this one? So he didn't have the slows, right? Oh, no, it's this one. So lots of ways that they could have slowed. That said, now with the pressure and ReGen Ghost showing in the bot lane, Death and Delay going to get their second keep here. So 2 keeps down, but top lane is where the next Punisher comes, and it's all structures up in those lanes. The Blessed Shield coming out onto ETC. Cursed Bullet landing as well. Mongoose falling very low, but it's unfortunate for Orphea as she was left behind to stand in that stun, and the slowing sands couldn't quite make it out. And now ReGen Ghost on the defensive with only the Cassia Malthael to provide damage for them here. Mac Daddy-O diving in. Cassia taking the damage from the Chromie and spinning to win. Sitting at half health is Sonya. Can they get the last rights? There goes the last rights and the Time Trap. Is there a Divine Shield? There's not. A mosh pit coming out onto 2. Johanna's gonna fall, and Uther is gonna be able to survive through this. Greymane maybe not so lucky, so now ETC almost getting caught by the Chromie. Delta Sniper trying to make it into the shadows to survive, but ultimately all he's gonna accomplish with that is a break to allow Uther to get away. And top fort is about to go down. ReGen can now make their way up. They can have, maybe they could have leave the Malthael here to work on this. Oh no, Malthael's got to clear mid. Yeah, Malthael's clearing mid. But I mean, this fort is absolutely gone. Even if they do absolutely nothing to it, the team can clear up with the Punisher. Oh, there you go, Mongoose. Well, then it was a good day to pick up the cast then. Few seconds here for death and delay. They do have that staggered, one might say, delayed death on the side of Chromie there. So 30 here. This is going to be a Punisher for ReGen Ghost. It's going to be a Mortar Punisher. So it's at this point it's probably the weakest Punisher at this stage of the game. But it's still a lot of damage. So I mean, if you're a player and you're not paying attention to where those mortars are dropping, it could be punishing. Not to put too fine a point on it. And we do see here Death and Delay. They're going to try to bait this Punisher over. I imagine they may even pull it down to that mid keep, just to limit the amount of damage here. ReGen Ghost doing a great job of pulling down the sidewall. Crushing Jaw's going out. Huckett is going to get a big condemn, and that's a quick kill. But the counter kill onto Mongoose, he's got that Death Mosh only onto one, and there's the time trap. Oh, the Divine Shield gonna keep Greymane alive, and that was absolutely critical. That combination between Chromie and Uther clearly saving the day. Like, Greymane surviving saves this game. Malthael having to go back is going to kill these catapults, but not before they get at least some damage onto this core. 5%, all of the shielding. And it's a 4 versus 4. No tanks on either side at the moment. But the structure game fully in hand of Death and Delay. They win one fight, they win the game. ReGen Ghost has a little bit more of an obstacle to get there. They might be able to win the game if they win a very strong fight. But the real challenge here is that even if they win, there are many catapults coming in all of the lanes, basically. Well, not the top lane. They're free on top lane. But in bot and mid lane. And of course, they also have to deal with camps. ETC coming back up. Johanna's going to head up into the top lane. Now, we did see there, I want to point this out, we did see Johanna finishing her Subdue quest. So now every single time she uses Punish, that's an 80% slow. On top of her Condemn, on top of the Slowing Sands, on top of a Blessed Shield, on top of an Uther Stun. It's a rough time if you're ReGen Ghost in a choke point. And right now, both teams kind of just making the decision to ultimately stay away from each other, deal with the various camps and pressure around the map. And again, because of the forts and keeps that are down, this is a lot more movement that ReGen Ghost has to manage around the map. We see ETC has that mosh pit, so he is kind of looking for that. First bullet gonna bring him down. Encore with the knockaway. And they will just barely save their fort, at least for the moment. Andrew, they're probably saving it. This thing has only got 911 health. And Death and Delay possibly looking to finish it. They get it. ETC is going to get caught in the time trap along with Johanna. But not quite any significant follow-up for either team there. Both tanks pretty far away from the rest of their team. And this is a strategy that works much better for Death and Delay right now, because ReGen Ghost has to constantly be looking for cleanup duty in two lanes. Death and Delay, they have the opportunity to push up those lanes, leave, head up, push up the top lane a little bit, and ultimately get set up for the next Punisher. This is going to be an Arcane Punisher, and these lasers are going to do a lot of damage. And this very well could be the last Punisher of the game. It could even just be the last fight. If either team just wins a fight straight up, this could be it. Good check by Mongoose on the bush there. Chromie's time trap far forward there, making sure that they don't come through that location. Let's zoom out so we can keep track of what's going on here on this fight. The blind coming out from Lili. So far, pretty even on the skeletal defenders. Slow coming out from Orphea. Cursed Bullet landing onto Mongoose. He is going to power slide away, but they're looking at the Malthael. Can they get him? He's very close, but Jug of 1,000 Cups is enough to keep him alive. Sonya, though, getting very low. Divine Shield now down, and there's still a mosh pit available as well as Last Rites. So Death and Delay recognizing that with those utilities available, they really need to pull back, at least for the moment, regroup. And here comes Sonya. Can they find a target? Malthael getting caught, taking a lot of damage from that Sonya, but ultimately going to be okay. Greymane looking for the Lili. Big stun and a triple. No, it's not a triple mosh. ETC going to get a death mosh with the Encore knocking Greymane out. A double kill trade for the one. But keep in mind right here, bot lane pressure. Malthael has to go back and deal with that, so ReGen Ghost can't really push with this. They have the Lili. They don't have their tank. You know what? I'm sorry. My bad. They have Lili tank. I forgot. Malthael's going to clear up that lane, so ReGen Ghost's going to get their second fort in the game. We see pings calling for that Shaman camp. I'm assuming that's ReGen Ghost, because again, this Punisher's at half health, and they can't really push effectively. There's still a wall up. So instead, they're going to come get this camp, and Chromie knows that they're here. We just saw her using that Time Walker's Pursuit, that vision, so she knows that they're there. They still can't do much about it, as they've got the two dead, the frontliners dead between Johanna and Sonya. The catapult pressure continuing to mount in the bot lane, but this is the first, I don't know, level 20, the first 20 levels of this game, pretty squarely in hand of Death and Delay, although ReGen Ghost had and continues to have the most kills. Death and Delay overall doing the better macro and keeping the structures, keeping that structure damage. Of course, heroes are temporary deaths, structures are permanent deaths, so there you go. But really, since the level 20s came up, it's been either very even or slightly in favor of ReGen Ghost. So both teams now really in a position where one solid fight wins them the game. The next Punisher's top lane, that will almost certainly end the game. But we'll see. We're 27 minutes into this. And if nothing else, I do recall Mongoose loves those 30-minute games. So we've got another 2.5 minutes before this game ends, at least. And right now, it looks like ReGen Ghost gonna get their first keep of the game thanks to the top lane pressure. And that's gonna force now Death and Delay to head back. Sonya gonna go deal with that. This is really the best timing for ReGen Ghost overall in this game. They now have a win condition, a path to victory, in theory even through mid lane, but they've definitely got the stronger advantage, at least for this. Well, no, they really don't, even with this right here, because this Punisher, if they win it, they have the advantage. If they take a long time to get it, though, it's all Death and Delay. Right now, we see maybe Johanna looking for that Blessed Shield, and man, I think that ReGen Ghost is lucky, because they were all right here. That could have been an easy 5 bounce Radiating Faith, and if that happens, I'm not sure that ReGen Ghost survives this game, because Johanna would have been able to easily condemn at least 4 of them into a Slowing Sands and a Subdue. That would have been a really bad day for them, I think. But not the time, not the moment that Death and Delay was looking for. And again, ReGen Ghost, they've got to pressure this up, because while they do have occasional catapult pressure in the mid lane, as you can see, it's occasional. And Death and Delay has constant pressure, but bot lane is constant. So every single wave automatically loses on the side of ReGen Ghost. So they had to clear that up a little bit, because now it's Punisher time. And this is it. This is the end of the game. I think, almost certainly. Plus, it's almost 30 minutes, so we've met our minimum time standard. And this is an interesting play, as we see Death and Delay electing to pull off. They want to be the engagers. They want that Johanna to be able to come in with the right Blessed Shield. There's the Cursed Bullet going out. Blessed Shield going out does hit ETC and Cassia, but it's Malthael the target here. Double Jugs coming out. As Sonya gonna get pulled in thanks to the Crushing Jaws. Now, I think those are Eternal bounces. They're not actually. Level 20 not being picked up there. But Dub C is getting very low, nearly taken out by the Chromie. Mac Daddy O on the Greymane gonna be the first to fall. But is it ETC? No, that's Malthael up there. A triple Divine Shield coming in to help them secure that kill, but a triple mosh coming from ETC. Can they get this kill? They get a double kill out of that one. The third one coming up in just a moment. Now Johanna trying to pull away, uses that condemn, but it's a 4 for nothing. I thought Malthael died? Malthael died. He had the buyback though, and now Chromie in the stasis holding onto the team for just a few seconds is going to fall. It's a full team wipe for ReGen Ghost, but there are catapults. There are so many catapults. And Malthael, oh no, the minion MVP! Malthael, you gotta go back. Oh no, there are so many catapults. Oh, they are shredding the core. Oh no. Oh, what a game. Wow. That was that was something else. Let's take a look at these stats here. 16 kills to 24 in favor of ReGen Ghost. Just a little bit over 30 minutes. Apparently Dormant God is silenced. Didn't know that. Yikes. Not the team that you thought was about to win that. And in all seriousness, MVP to that tiny little minion who interrupted the Malthael back. If Malthael had been able to make it back, I think they could have saved the core. Probably would have taken core damage, right? They had 5 catapults there. It was a lot. But ultimately, game number 1 going over to Death and Delay. And what a finish. And that goes to something, it wasn't this game. It was actually another game, I think, if I remember right, that was going on at the same time as this one that I picked up, where there was one team. It was the second game of the match that I cast the other day at the same time on Infernal Shrines, where one team was clearly getting most of the kills. The other team got all the structure value, and the team that got the structure value is the team that won. It doesn't always work out that way. In this case, it was quite clear that if ReGen had that moment to be able to get the Malthael back to core, they could have won this game. They had plenty of time on the death timers. They had no keep to go through. But in this case, it's our blue team, Death and Delay, winning the point. So good on them for keeping ReGen busy for that long. I can imagine. Let's see. Game number 2. Going to be on Alterac Pass. I did not set up the pop-ups last time, so I'm going to do that this time. And hopefully they're on the right sides. I don't think they are. I think the team switched. And you know better, Mongoose. But we'll see. Let's see. All right, well, we're all set up, so while I get the game to load, why don't I put you on the map screen so you can see what we're doing, where we're going, and how things have gone since. First of all, let me find out who picked this map. This was the pick of Death and Delay. Hey, Dub, good afternoon. All right, so as mentioned, this is game number 2. It's going to be on Alterac Pass, the selection of Death and Delay. We did see game number 1 there, the ReGen Ghost selection. Death and Delay pulling out that victory, though. Kind of just barely with their 6th man minion MVP. The bans came out from Death and Delay onto the... let's see, who is that? Braxis Holdout and Dragonshire. ReGen Ghost, they banned out Cursed Hollow and Full Sky Foundry. And you know what? Never mind. It does actually show them on the correct sides. It was just the way that the colors showed up on the overlay. Right. Oh, there we go. All right, here we go. Game number 2 between Death and Delay and ReGen Ghost. And if you're just joining us, in addition to this replay cast over on twitch.tv/Jazzaline, it's the Girls Gang Squad Breast Cancer Research Foundation charity tournament. Make sure you head over there. We're going to be heading over there when we're done here, but make sure you head over there and you know, check out the game. If you want to donate, you can see they've already surpassed their initial goal of $500, and they're really just in the first game, so they have all day, a full tournament of 8 teams to get through. Let's go ahead and get our teams here introduced. On the left, it's going to be Death and Delay. We got MZ17 playing the Kerosene Delta Sniper on the Acidar, Huckett on Diablo, Mac Daddy-O on Vala, and Imperius going to be played by MDC. And to the right, we've got ReGen Ghost looking for blood, I imagine, after that loss. Dub C613 on the Chromie, Lidrock on the Rainer. We got Mongoose on May, Andrew on Uther, and Dormant God playing the Deathwing. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Nightbot. Great timing on that. All right, so we do have our level 1 talents here, so a little bit of a difference here. Chromie going into Deep Breathing instead of the Time Walker's Pursuit, so it doesn't have the vision, but gets the cooldown reduction once that quest is complete. And this is a different map, although many similarities, right? Your control objectives, while not skeletal defenders, they're over these smaller defined points. So Chromie can certainly get value here just as she can on Infernal Shrines. And we do have Lidrock coming over here already. And we got a hype train. Shui, Mongoose, and Dub coming in with the subs. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for that. I don't think I've ever had a hype train before. That's awesome. We got MZ17 coming over to pick up the camp while Uther and Rainer getting on their own camp here. I mentioned that earlier. But, you know, interestingly enough, 2 games with Uther. Uther does not get picked that often. Definitely as a solo healer, he got some improvements with his Holy Radiance, I think. Not Holy Light, that's his Q. But his Holy Radiance, his W, got a lot of value, especially with that level 16 upgrade here. But the Siege Camp coming in the mid lane. Karazim, yeah, I was going to say, he must have gone Insight. He's all about getting those stacks. A little bit over a third of the way now. And we'll see how that turns out for them. Diablo pushing in the first siege minion to get close there. And Huckett, with that 20 armor reduction, taking a load of damage from the Chromie, getting bombed pretty hard. Dad loves Usher and is really good with him. We picked him here partially as a denial. Oh, gotcha. And you meant Uther. I was like, who is Dad and why does he... Oh, Death and Delay is Death. Okay. I was like, what does Usher have to do with any of this? First objective coming up. A lot of teams, you know, this is one of those maps where the objective, in some cases on that first one, become a bit of a kind of a delayed tactic, and you may not see teams really push hard on them until after even level 10. And this is really the focus right here. Instead, picking up the siege camps, getting as much pressure as they can before getting the cavalry, because then that cavalry pushes up, gets a little bit of wall damage, makes it a little bit easier for your team to continue to build and snowball on a map like Alterac Pass. So we'll continue to zip around the map and see how things go here. Mongoose in a little bit of danger, but able to use that icing to skate on away. Didn't even have to use Cryo Freeze. Everything's just fine. But up in the top lane here, Karazim versus the Deathwing. And I imagine that Karazim was taken after Deathwing. Because Karazim's not a very common hero for healing. But with that percent damage, with the 7-sided, would give him the opportunity to really punish the Deathwing if they take that 7-sided. Also the Imperious there, you've got Vala, so a lot of percent damage. I'm guessing the Deathwing was an early pick here. Yeah. Imperious also then has that stun that he can land onto, say, a Mei coming out of Cryo Freeze, or maybe even if there was an ally time trap, Imperious could certainly time that one as well. So a really strong pickup here. But also, I mean, there's just a lot of damage coming out potential from Raynor, Chromie. You know, Raynor just a solid pickup going into that ace in the hole. Huckett gonna slam the Mei into the wall, but gets stunned, and Chromie dropping the Dragon's Breath out there. Cryo Freeze now being used. Andrew having to use that heal to give himself that armor, but also just stay alive. And the channel here already halfway complete for ReGen Ghost. As both teams level 7. Diablo charging in. I'm not sure where Imperious was looking for. Maybe he was looking for the same target that Diablo charged in onto. But they will get the pause, so 6.2 seconds left as the Siege Camp will be pressuring mid lane here, at least for a little bit. Diablo going in, does get the flip onto Uther. However, the Blizzard coming down is going to get a double stun. Uther making out just fine. The Fire Breath, the Molten Flame coming out from Deathwing is going to get significant damage onto Diablo. And first blood going over to ReGen Ghost. Now heading back to deal with the Siege Camp here in the mid lane. They don't want to lose any more structure value than they can. Really, honestly, probably learning that lesson from last game. Saying, hey, you know what? We lost last game because of the structures. Let's make sure we keep as much of this up as possible. And it's so important to do that on this map anyways. Uther able to pick up the channel. And you know what? Should be able to, I was going to say, should be able to stall that out long enough. Oh, 0.3 seconds. Tassadar just in time. Going to be able to put the pause on that. So we may not get a cavalry until after level 10 anyways, even though these teams are both, you know, looking to get this. Keep in mind, really at any point, ReGen Ghost could come in here and lock down the channel with just even a single player if they have the capability to sneak somebody in there. Chromie has some pretty good poke potential onto the point as well, and this is ideally positioned for her to do exactly that. Mei's gonna get double charge there. The medallion coming in, Cryo Freeze, Molten Flame just burning Imperious, burning away the Impure, you might say. And Dormant God looking for that kill, but it's actually Uther who's gonna make it. And Chromie finishing that quest here. Huckett going in, looking to see if they can't get the Uther off of Karazim. Mongoose getting very low, doesn't have Cryo Freeze for a little bit here, but Tassadar stalling out, using that electric fence. Oh, the big stun onto Karazim, but not quite enough to be able to get there. The Blizzard, rather, gonna get the stun onto Diablo, and that's gonna be another kill. Diablo sitting at 92 stacks, will be gone for a fair bit of time, but most importantly, in the mid lane, the Siege Camp already getting this fort down almost entirely, may even get the full fort thanks to ReGen Ghost showing up to finish the job. After mid-ban? Okay. So, okay, yeah, so they still had two? I guess they only had one. So those are just heroes that they liked. Got it. All right, so we're going to have a 4-man rotation coming up into the top lane. Level 10s here for ReGen Ghost. And with their Hyperion, going to push hard onto this. And Mongoose going in, looking for the Tassadar. Does get the Blizzard stun? Maybe not. That medallion just enough. Oh, Delta Sniper! Oh, the fence! Just too late. And they're going to take down this bottom fort. They still have a mid-cavalry. That took a long time for Death and Delay to get top. Mid-cavalry is going to get a bit of value into this wall, but keep in mind there's still a bottom lane cavalry as well. It's also about half health. So I expect that ReGen Ghost will get about half of this wall and then back away. Because here comes Death and Delay. So they get the wall, they get the tower. So pretty much exactly what I expected. The ping's calling for this top boss. This is an interesting call for ReGen Ghost. They do see Death and Delay in the... Obviously, they were just in the bot lane. And there's no real vision potential unless Tassadar takes Oracle at 13. So right now, ReGen Ghost able to stay out of vision, head up to the top. There's Tassadar checking the bottom there, recognizing that that's not where they are. So they probably have a pretty good idea now that ReGen Ghost is up at the top. So Death and Delay instead going to head down to bottom lane and pull the bottom boss as well. So in the grand scheme of things, that's probably the better trade. They probably wouldn't want it to go the other way around because that boss would go directly to their keep with that wall down. But they got to get this done quickly. They took a long time to get here. But ReGen Ghost just going to stop here in the middle and clean up. They've got their fort. They can defend that, no problem. And the boss should finish up the top fort. So ultimately, a big value win here for ReGen Ghost, getting all of the forts down. And that's going to significantly increase their chances of being able to get every other cavalry, because they still have all of their forts up. Although, of course, mid taking a bit of damage on the wall there. And this boss taking the full wall down in the bot lane. Ultimately not going to get too far onto this fort, but we'll get quite a bit. as a couple of the damage there, just saying, hey, whatever, we'll take that damage from the boss. We'll survive. And next set of cavalry camp coming up. Active now as the only camp right now on the side of Ghost, but we do see here Death and Delay have theirs popping up as well, trying to catch up in the XP soak, as Ghost currently up a level ahead of Death and Delay and continuing to build that lead, having this global pressure from the Deathwing as he's gonna go ahead and head up now. Deathwing at level 7 here took Firestorm, so able to reduce his flight cooldown pretty significantly if he hits players with those meteors. Now, we mentioned earlier that Chromie had the ability to stall out these camps. So does Tassadar, it turns out, right? He's got a lot of ways that he can put the pause on there. And his cooldowns are not super long. And he can rotate those around. May able to pick them up as the rest of the team coming down here to push up their siege camp, clean up the enemy siege camp, and ultimately distract Death and Delay from being able to get in there. Big stun coming out from Dormant God there as the Molten Flame getting work. The Black Hole coming out, but it doesn't matter, that Divine Shield, and there goes Diablo. Soul's down, so he'll be coming back here soon. But there's no fort to retreat here, as Kerosene getting the 7-sided, but is not going to be enough, wasn't isolated enough. As Mac Daddy-O did pop that Gladiator Medallion, was enough to stay away and survive Uther's stun, but just not enough to survive the overall onslaught of ReGen Ghost. But they do have now Death and Delay pushing in the mid lane with their siege camp, gonna bring down the armor of these towers, and ultimately those minions will push it pretty well. Enough to get the 2 towers down. Top lane pushed up really far. So is the bot lane here as well, and you see Deathwing in the mid trying to push up mid so that these cavalry don't have any speed bumps to get to. Rotation coming in from Death and Delay. They want to try to stall out at the top here. A nice avalanche from May, ultimately disengaging the team, giving them time for right here our buddy the Wolf Rider to come in and play, and they get a big damage bonus and movement speed bonus when that's here. So Various is going to get caught by the Blizzard, but not quite enough follow-up there for ReGen Ghost to get that kill. They were just a little too far. Diablo going to get the charge onto Raynor. Raynor going to get stunned, but an Unstoppable once again used there, this time by Raynor. MDC right up in the thick of things is trying to get this cavalry down, but all the while the cavalry pushing in the mid and bot lane. And MacDaddy-O gonna get taken out, tries to vault, but the second blast from Dragon's Breath gonna take the Vala out. And MDC having to pull back. The conflagration from Dormant God there, doing a lot of damage onto Imperius there. And Cavalry already sitting on the mid keep here, gonna take this down. Imperius is not what I was gonna say anyways. Divine Shield coming out, keeping May alive for the moment. Now Imperius is deep in the enemy team, but just can't quite get the damage he's looking for. So 2 keeps down, make it a 3rd for ReGen Ghost. All structures down for death and delay. And this core has now become extremely vulnerable to attack. Death and delay now very much on the back foot. Level 16 available, and they do have an even number of heroes on the map here. 4 to 4, as both Raynor and Imperius, they'll be joining here soon. Both teams once again heading out, sending out their siege camps. Death and delay looking for... They now have the pressure against them that they felt that won them the game in game number 1 on Infernal Shrines. So they have constant pressure in literally every lane, and the bosses are up. And this is the kind of thing where, I mean, this is a Hail Mary play that's like 10 yards. Like, you don't win the game off this boss. So I really don't like this. And I think they're about to pay for it. There's Imperius getting the stun onto May. Uses the angelic armaments. The slowing sands there from Chromie, probably a little bit off from where it would be ideal. But ReGen Ghost saying, we don't have to take this fight. So they did bait out a couple of ultimates there. They got the black hole. They got the angelic armaments. And again, I mean, the pressure mounting against the core. So, and that's totally fine. I mean, I fed that keep. Yeah, fair enough. The boss here, like, largely a non-issue. I mean, ReGen Ghost can head right over to the prison camp and get started on this. And they have time. They don't need to push this too hard. But Death and Delay, they don't. So Diablo going in is the target. 7-sided coming out, hitting a whole bunch of people for a little bit of damage, as Diablo is going to be able to make it out. But Imperius, not feeling good. Has that Blizzard slowing him down here as the Chromie deep breathing. Getting a lot of work there. And MacDaddy-O there on the Vala. Vala's not really known for her significant amount of hit points, so being the last one to leave, kind of a dangerous place there. But Diablo going to have to come back, try to put the pause on this pressure that's coming in. And these Reavers, check this out. Reavers have 2,400 health as compared to minions, which have 700 health. I think a normal catapult has like 1,000. It's a huge difference. And Ghost with 15 seconds. Like, Death and Delay cannot delay on this. They have to pause this. If they don't pause this, they lose the game. They can't really let this in either. They lose the game there too. So they do get the pause. The core ultimately going to be able to clear out the minion waves there, especially because this right here is pushing out. And ReGen Ghost doing a good job. They're saying we can be patient. We have 50 seconds of maybe channel time that we can dink around with. And they're going to rotate. They're a half a level. I think ReGen Ghost can wait for level 20 at this point. Like, they stall it out, get level 20s, and then they come in and just get a big monster stun and destroy everybody. MacDaddy-O, as mentioned earlier, not a whole lot of health, walking out of there with sub 100. And the pressure continuing to mount, this time in top and bottom lanes. Dormant God going in with the Cataclysm is going to stall out. I thought he was going to try to do that Molten Flame. Divine Shield coming in onto May as they get the kill onto Diablo, and the Conflagration getting 2 more kills. Looking maybe for the next one here. 3 kills, and they get it. 4 kills. Only Tassadar survives that. And somehow still over here. Diablo coming back with souls, and it looks like ReGen Ghost going to be able to head over and close out game number 2. Assuming Chromie and May don't just get killed here. Does May have Cryo Freeze? I don't think she does. What a danger. Like, what a day. 4 health on the side of May there, trying to just get the cooldowns to come back. And that kill will secure, especially with those level 20s. Oh, you know what? I bet that actually was a kill. That was probably the level. Let's see if it'll show. 7? Oh, yeah, it was. Absolutely it was. So they got the kill, but Flash Freeze coming in just in time to save the Mei. And game number 2 going over to ReGen Ghost. And that was decidedly more in their favor. That game number 1 was certainly a strong game for them that they, you know, unfortunately lost basically. Game number 2 though was a ReGen Ghost party. I mean, see it right here, 1 kill onto the Rainer there, which was on that round, that 2nd cavalry where the keeps went down. But yeah, this was a ReGen Ghost you know, highlight reel basically. A lot of difficulty playing into the Deathwing, having that bellowing roar. Just a challenging time for Death and Delay on this one, which means that we get game number 3. And what a set this has turned out to be. Let's go ahead and come on back over here as we get set up for this 3rd game. All right, let's see. So game number 3 is going to be on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I update those? Yes, I did. Bye. Let's find out who picked this. Let's see. This was a Death and Delay pick. All right, looks like we get you through all 3 games. All right. Loaded. All right, so while we wait for game number 3 to load here, just as a reminder, once we've completed here, I'm going to send everybody over to twitch.tv/Jazzaline for the Girls Gang Squad charity tournament running today for the Breast Cancer Research Fund. If you'd like to donate to that, hit !donate. Give them a follow over there. Watch the show. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic matchup. There are 40 women from around the Nexus, some from Nexus Gaming Series. Oh, and by the way, this is joint between Nexus Gaming Series and Girls Gang Squad. So, you know, it's a joint opportunity. The casters over there today, Jazzaline and Slexia, along with Murda and Not Paradox. And again, all of the players today, women from around the Nexus, looking to support the Breast Cancer Research Fund, which we'll check right now because our game's set up and ready to go to see how they're doing. $694, already exceeding their goal after the first game, which was originally $500. Let's get into our game here between Death and Delay and ReGen Ghost. Game number 3, Division B-NorthEast. And let's see. We got Mac Daddy-O on the Genji, I believe. That's Genji. Genji, yep. We got Delta Sniper on Kael'thas. Huckett on the Mei. Sonya going to be played by MDC. And Uther once again by MZ17. And on the right, ReGen Ghost. We got Dormant God playing the Gazlo with a little cheese, apparently. Mongoose on the Johanna. Dub C on the Orphea. Lidrock on Tassadar. And... is that everybody? Is everybody? Mongoose, Lid, Dub, Andrew. There we go, right? No, I didn't say Andrew. Andrew on Stukov. There we go. 10 out of 10. A+. Everybody wins. Spine Launcher going to be the pick here for the Stukov. So giving him that ranged attack, but also a little bit of a slow on every attack. So Genji coming in, getting slowed instantly if he does that. Now, Kael'thas is a hero that I have not seen, surprisingly, all that much in Season 10 casting. But when he does show up, he does... oh, no. All right, Gladiator Medallion there on the Genji used, so that's 5 minutes until he'll be able to have that again, but also very low on the health bar there. But anyways, Kael'thas, a good pick into the Gazlo, able to drop that living bomb onto his turrets and spread that damage to enemy teammates. Genji in there trying to get value out of that deflect, but I literally think there was 0 attacks on that. So again, really solid job by ReGen Ghost to not attack Genji when that's going on. Kael'thas here going to get caught by the force wall, and Tassadar may pay for it. Has that living bomb, does get pulled away as Genji coming up. Johanna now getting that big condemn, but ultimately Kael'thas able to make it out. In Sonya versus Gazlo, this is a little bit more difficult of a matchup these days ever since Gazlo got his rework. That's a shorter cooldown on his stun. He can drop turrets more often. And you'll watch his bottom bar here, this orange bar. Every 4 little counters, I guess, is an opportunity for him to drop another turret. So you can see he can drop now 2 more turrets if he wanted to. His level 1 here, Big Game Hunter, gives him 2 more scraps, so he's able to drop 3 turrets at a time, basically, on a shorter recharge time when he auto attacks heroes, mercs, or monsters. So really helps him when he's doing camps, for example. Mid lane here, we've got the Bruiser camp coming in. This gives the spell armor, the 20 spell armor, to ReGen Ghost, but ultimately gives them a little bit of a distraction. Also the XP. Tacit are able to come down here and start working on the bottom as Gazlo getting a little bit of a turn-in. So 15 to 11 so far on the turn-in. And check it out. Top lane already has a little bit of damage onto the structure and a little bit of XP missed there. So how are we looking on those XP totals? Just slightly in favor of ReGen, of course, thanks to those mercenaries. But minions very close. A couple of minions missed, but overall very close on the timing here. And we see, once again, that force wall looking for a target. Couldn't quite get it. Specifically there onto the Mei. But checking into the bot lane here. Dormant God getting very low. Drops that turret. Now keep in mind here also. Here's another thing. And if it seems like I'm teaching you guys Gazlo, it's because why not, right? I mean, you're going to see him more. Gazlo at level 4 picks up this talent right here. Gives him a shield every time he drops a turret. So really helps to increase Gazlo's self-sustain. He also, of course, gets self-healing when he hits with a laser. So watch that, increasing if he takes talents for that. And it's more damage, or more healing if he hits a hero. That said, Sonya into a Gazlo, I mean, that's just more targets for her to spin to. So I'm not actually sure how that works out. I mean, if Gazlo can get the stun, then I think it's a little bit harder, obviously, for Sonya to get value there, but we'll have to see. We'll have to check that out from time to time. Death and Delay officially has the has enough to turn in first, but overall, ReGen Ghost turning in 39 so far. And you know what? The Genji into a Tassadar, that actually is a really solid pickup there. Could go into the deflect talents, auto attacks, the Psystorm. Those are abilities that do damage very quickly. So a deflect, it's very hard to, you know, suddenly decide, oh, I don't want to attack as Tassadar. You're going to get some of those. Nice force wall here coming on to Huckett, so he's going to have to pop that cryo freeze. Now into the silence, is going to be able to use that icing to skate away, but goes back in just to stall out the turn-in. 36 to 39 here as Death and Delay succeed at getting their turn-in, able to get the first set of web weavers, and both teams again very even in XP. Only basically 2 minions separating them from the overall total in XP. I think minions are 80 if I remember right, so they're about 150 off. It's like our initial commitment from Death and Delay is to clear up the mid lane, get that web weaver to push up as far as possible, but that's going to give ReGen Ghost, I mean, a full clear on top lane. Pretty much for free. That'll die pretty quickly, maybe even before it gets to the wall. The wall did go down along with one tower. Looks like the second tower as well. And Living Bomb spreading. As, once again, the XP very close. Genji going in, trying to get the deflect value there. But no kills yet in game number 3. 0-0. Only getting a little bit of push thanks to that Web Weaver. And the rotation coming in from Death and Delay, maybe looking at the bottom lane to see if they can't get some more push, but instead deciding to head up to make sure that ReGen Ghost doesn't get their turn in. And a big Swift Strike coming in from the Genji. Follow that up with a Gravity Lapse. And that recipe says goodbye to Tassadar. Just want to make sure that was Swift Strike, right? Yeah, I thought so. It's been a while since I've seen a Genji. I thought maybe I might forget some of the ability names or even the talent names. Who am I kidding? I don't know Genji's names. A heading down into the bot now to, I guess, to kill the turrets. So that they can maybe try to turn in. They do have 43 gems. Still, ReGen Ghost 39 out of their total. But Kael'thas getting stuck and slowed. Oh, the Divine Shield just in time for Kael'thas. An absolutely monster avalanche here. Getting 3 of ReGen Ghost pushback. Andrew gets it just in time, popping that pustule. Here comes Grav Bomb, able to connect and take out the Uther. And Grav Bomb now, if you played Gazlo in the past and you haven't lately, Grav Bomb, you have to kind of change the timer of your combo. You can't throw down your stun first. If you want the max benefit, you want to throw down the Grav Bomb first, then put the silence out so that you pull everybody in, then you get them stunned. I said silence. Stun is what I meant. Web Weaver's coming in now for ReGen Ghost, and it looks like they're more interested in committing to this top lane, waiting for the Web Weaver to land, and clearing up the lane. Gonna get that push right away. 3 out of the Death and Delay members are here, as Genji in the mid trying to clear out the Web Weaver there, Sonya in the bot lane. And so I think bot lane is fine. I think Sonya can take that out pretty quick. Mid lane's gonna take some damage though. Genji doesn't quite have that same clear. Big pull onto Mei into the wave as she uses that Cryo Freeze to heal up. Also get that 40 spell armor thanks to her level 4 talent. And so, very similar to the first Web Weaver here. Not a lot of value out of this second Web Weaver, although Kael'thas getting brought very low. Had to be careful as the Force Wall coming in, maybe looking for that Mei, but not really in a good position to do so. Gazlo heading back base to get healed up. And again, I mean, they're getting a little bit of damage here, but I don't know that they... Oh, they do get a couple of... Oh, they take it out. Wow. All right. Just enough to take out that well. Because, again, the well doesn't have a whole lot of health. The well has 250 health. And I don't think structure health goes up over time, if I remember right. I think it's just... This is how much it is. Genji going to get pulled back in. Does use that cyber agility to jump over the wall. And Avalanche going to throw Johanna away. Checking in on the bot lane, though, we've got Dormant God versus MDC. And can Gazlo make it out? Does get that shield. I don't know that it's enough. A big stun. Oh, no. Is Sonya going to get taken out by this? Oh, what a play. Dormant God using the fort and that 20 armor reduction, getting that kill. Also the kill up above onto Genji. Sorry we missed that, but it happens. MDC in chat, incoming Sonya one-head play. Fair enough. Oh, and perfect timing on that electric fence there to put the pause on Mei. Couldn't quite get that icing that she was looking for. Sorry, MDC. Sometimes you get the good kills, sometimes you don't. All right, so Red Web Weaver's coming back here, and it looks like Death and Delay heading into the bot lane. Want to clear up in the bot lane first. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not really sure what we're doing here. We're playing a little bit of a cat and mouse game of following where, I guess, where ReGen Ghost is showing. They are going to clear out the mid one first. Sonya can clear this out pretty well, so no big deal there. But Death and Delay loses their top fort thanks to that Web Weaver. And Ghost, it looks like, maybe going to head down into the bot lane. They already have the wall down, so they can you know, push up this lane with the minions coming in. Are there? Ah, they're there. Push up the lane with the minions coming in and work on that fort as Death and Delay, just making sure that they don't lose keep damage here. And of course, with Gazlo, they don't even really need minions. They have those turrets to take the shots from the fort. Big minion wave. The Kael'thas are going to be able to clear that out very quickly, so no fort for them. Top lane still pushed pretty far ahead here. About, I was going to say about 30 for ReGen Ghost, but Death and Delay have enough return, and they're able to get that finished up. The blue web weavers coming in. Genji's swifting in and cybering out. That sounds remarkably dirtier than I expected it to, but you know, whatever. It happens. Web weavers coming in. Genji looking for something there. Blizzard gonna not quite land on any targets for that stun. And it looks like full commitment into the mid lane. Is Sonya going to push up bot lane? That bottom fort certainly going to go down here shortly as the mid web weaver will be taken out. Gazlo heading down into the bottom. Hey, Red. Good afternoon. Welcome. Glad you could be here. And bottom web weaver sitting about half health, so you know, could get a little bit of damage onto that keep wall, but it's not going to be a ton. Bravo Bomb not quite hitting as Cryo Freeze able to keep Mei just fine. Mac Daddy-O coming in is gonna get stunned, but has the Divine Shield, and they get that kill onto Orphea. Continuing on, but a big stun onto the Genji is gonna ultimately secure them a trade. Now Living Bomb onto Johanna. Have to be careful as they spread that over to the Tassadar. It looks like it's just 1 for 1. And what I thought was going to be just a little bit of damage onto this keep may actually end up being the full keep. So, big trade value there for Death and Delay. Ultimately, very similar value for them in this game as game number 1. ReGen Ghost has the kill numbers. Not a lot. I mean, it's 4-2. Not a high kill count. But Death and Delay, right now, definitely pulling up the structure count. So, you know, ReGen has to keep in mind that game number 1. They have to be mindful that they lost game number 1 because of that structure value and some of the fights taking too long. And we'll see how that works out. You see the call here for the Bruiser camp. Gazlo can easily do this by himself, so they don't really need to go and help him. They just need to keep an eye on what's going on team-wise for Death and Delay. Kael'thas going to head up and clean this up as almost another web weaver available here for Death and Delay. Just need a couple more gems to finish that off. I guess 8 more or so. And now Gazlo going to head down in the bot, deal with the siege camp. The rest of ReGen Ghost, however, they get that Bruiser camp. And right now, just trying to stall out the potential for another web weaver turn. It looks like all 5 of Death and Delay here. Sonya popping the Wrath of the Berserker. Gonna get Mongoose down to about 75% thanks to that. But already we see the turn-ins coming in 56 out of 60. Make it 59. Just one more as Mei is going to get in there and get that turn in. A big condemn. Gravel Bomb coming in. This time going to land onto 2 and a double kill with that Stukov silence. And Mei trying to get out. Does use the Cryo Freeze there. Had to get out of the silence before she could do it. A big condemn. And Orphea with the Shadow Waltz coming in. Getting that 3rd kill thanks to the finish of Gazlo. And Mac Daddy-O trying to swift around. Does get the kill onto the Orphea, but as single-digit health, does he make it out of this? No way, right? Does Tass have anything? There's no way, yeah. But they still have to deal. So a quad kill for ReGen Ghost, but they still have to deal with the web weavers as Death and Delay was able to get that turn in. So bot lane, this is the one to watch. This has a couple of catapults. It's got a full web weaver. And of course the little, whatever these are called. What are these called? Oh, spiders. Apparently. Sure, why not? So Gazlo's going to head down there and deal with that. Now, still, this right here would be even. This is 3v3. Genji not available. And Ignite there for the Kael'thas is going to get that Living Bomb onto the Stukov. So, especially now, ReGen Ghost has to be mindful not just of Living Bomb being put on them, but also the Flame Strikes coming in. Hey, MDC, thanks for the sub. Really appreciate it. Force Wall blocking the Death and Delay from pushing up into the top lane here. The boss is available. It hasn't so much as been looked at by other team because they haven't really had a really good time to do it. But it could become a factor here as we get later in this game. 18 to 19. It's a full level lead for ReGen Ghost at this point. Not far away from their level 20s. Johanna going in gets a 3-man condemn. Here comes a big grab a bomb into the Eternal Feast, but Divine Shield keeping them alive. Orphea the target, but not able to sneak in there. MacDaddy-O on the Genji, also very low here, so a whole lot of abilities used. Is there enough to get this Mei? The silence coming out, and Tassadar has those slows, has the spell armor reduction, but it turns out Mei has that icing, but she doesn't have it again as Blessed Shield at the very tip. Mongoose with the play, getting that kill, and this might be enough with the level 20s coming up that we see exactly what I just said, which is that boss rotation. And we even see the pings down here saying, hey, bot lane. I mean, does Death and Delay, are they going to try to backdoor with this push? No, they're not. Man, I almost think that was the call. I think Death and Delay could have just straight up said, okay, let's go, while ReGen Ghost is up here. That's kind of a Hail Mary play. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But the boss is now coming in that top lane. 59 out of 60. I mean, ReGen Ghost having this turn in, this is the kind of checkmate play you want. You want a boss, you want a Web Weaver coming in right behind it. And that's a tough place here for Death and Delay. They do have the bot lane pressure, so at least there won't be any Web Weavers really anytime soon for them. And we'll see how this goes. So 20 up for ReGen Ghost. Not yet here for Death and Delay. Stukov gonna get punted out, so no more Avalanche. As the boss taking out the healing well, and now working on the keep. Huckett getting very low. MDC on Sonya now having to pull back. The duration of her Wrath of the Berserker is going to expire, though, and that's going to make it even more difficult here for Death and Delay. The Web Weaver sitting nearly at full boss at about 30%. And here comes the Archon. Looking for that kill. Does get the Electric Fence, but not quite where they needed it. Icing pushing them back. The Web Weaver now falling down. And ReGen Ghost pulling back as level 20's just coming up for Death and Delay. They're going to rotate into the mid lane here and see what they can get. Probably not a ton. The Web Weaver's already pretty low, and of course, like I said, because of that siege camp, the bot lane pushed up pretty far. Living Bomb, though, getting onto many targets. And ReGen Ghost having to pull back. So what I thought would ultimately be a game-ending combination, ultimately not able to be, really solid defense by Death and Delay to make sure that they kept the pressure away and didn't even so much as take percentage on their core. So both teams now sitting in a very similar position with one keep down in opposite lanes. And a similar number of gems here. With bruiser camps in the mid lane, this almost couldn't be more even. Although, of course, that extra 4% for the extra level there for ReGen Ghost, maybe that's enough to put them in an advantage on a fight here. But ultimately, that bruiser camp going to go pretty quickly for Death and Delay. They're going to pull back. They do have that catapult pressure on their core. They remember how they won in game number 1. They don't want to have that happen against them. And so they'll clean up the bruiser camp that's heading to mid now. ReGen Ghost going to get their turn in. So almost half of their gems turned in for another Web Weaver here. As they rotate through and let's see. Do we have any camps coming up? 30 seconds on the boss or bot camp. Boss is 2 minutes, so not a lot there. Mostly at this point, this is just both teams kind of picking up their gems, seeing what they can gather, and then looking for an opportune moment. this might be it. Gravity Lapse missing Mongoose there. A lot of damage going on to Delta. But is going to get healed up thanks to Uther. And Uther did take the level 20 Divine Shield. Also, Flamethrower there for Kael'thas, so has that extra range and cooldown reduction on Flame Strike. So even more ignites. Of course, the Genji Deflect, I mentioned that early. I kind of figured that would be the case. So, you know, really it's going to be on Tassadar to make sure that he doesn't just absolutely delete his own team. The upgraded Avalanche there for Mei, and the Ancient Spear for, or Composite Spear rather, for Sonya, giving her that armor and additional range on her spear. Bot camp as mentioned by Shui. Now we do also have the Indestructible here for Johanna, so able to proc that anti-death moment, just like Mongoose had in game number 2 with the Mei. The Twilight Archon, so basically Archon forever. We've got here Eldritch Conduit, so that extra spell power can do quite a bit of work. Stukov with Bio Explosion switch to those extra silences, and the miniature black hole. And I love this talent. Like it was cool before, but it's got such a huge cooldown reduction when you hit heroes now. You hit 3 heroes and basically it's back. So it's just crazy. Big Blessed Shield. I think blind maybe. Double onto the kill. Words! Silence! Triple kill! And now Mac Daddy O with the Swift Strikes gets punted into the wall. Orphea is going to fall. The stun from Johanna gets the condemn onto Genji, and he's going to fall now. Sonya with Wrath of the Berserker. 4v1, just can't pull it off. And ReGen Ghost looking down saying, bottom lane screwed us last time. Let's put the pause on this. And instead, they've got the catapults in the top lane. They'll be able to head forward with, who's alive on this damage? Tassadar's alive. And I think that's it. I think ReGen Ghost is going to be able to pull this one off. With the 3 catapults and Tassadar with his auto damage, which, you know, they don't call it a tickle beam for nothing. And ReGen Ghost officially taking the 2-1 victory over Death and Delay. That was that was something. I don't know if if Mongoose had the idea for sure that that's where the shield was. Like, I don't know if he saw that or not, but definitely, I mean, you saw the people over there, so it was a good bet that there was somebody in there. So we'll call it, you know, a little bit of luck and a little bit of just being aware of what was going on. Overall, ReGen Ghost, you know, ahead in kills each game. The first game was so close, absolutely just 1 minion away from being a domination for ReGen Ghost. But this is a great set to watch. Let me go ahead and update the totals again so that we can see the updated standings. Which coincidentally, the standings didn't actually change, right? I mean, the points went up. Death and Delay in second place with 13 points. ReGen Ghost now with 5 points, putting them within striking range of Lubu and Animaniacs to be able to sneak into the playoffs there as we get into where we're farther into the second half of the season. Of course, there are 9 weeks. This was a week 6 matchup. So there you go for that. Taking a quick look at the maps once again, just to show those to you here. And so that's it for our match between Death and Delay and ReGen Ghost. So guys, I really appreciate you letting me know. This is a fantastic match. I mean, it was a lot of fun to cast. Some really great plays. Both teams had some really fantastic combos there, and multi kills. Make sure you clip some of those for highlight reels. And now where we're gonna go, what we're gonna do, we're gonna send you over to Jazleen for the Girls Gank Squad Breast Cancer Research Fund Charity Tournament. I believe they're in their second round. I think all of the first round games have completed. I'm just gonna... Oh, no. It looks like they're in game number 3 of their first round, at least on the stream. So some games may have ended by now, but you know what? We're going to send you over there now. Thanks again for joining me, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again soon. Just one last quick shout out. Wanted to say to MDC, Dubsy, Mongoose, and Shui, thanks all of you guys for the subs today. Really do appreciate it. You know, it was great seeing that hype train, and now I'll officially say, have a good day.